Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is Gabe with Indigo Software, genuine Microsoft software for less. So in today's video, we're covering our top 10 best tips and tricks within Microsoft Excel to help you work smarter and more efficiently. Now, before we get started, if you're interested in your own copy of Microsoft Office or other Microsoft software for a great price, check out Indigo Software. We'll have all the links in the description box below. So without further ado, let's begin. All right, so for the first Excel tip that we have for you guys, we're gonna try to help you understand the difference between relative and absolute cell references. So there's a key difference between the two, and knowing and understanding how to use both can help you get through spreadsheets way faster. So an absolute cell reference is essentially a formula that when dragged down within a column is going to automatically adjust for each row. So let's use profit for an example. Profit is gonna be, so we'll enter an equals, we'll click our amount minus cost, and we'll press enter. This is our profit, okay? So $60. If I drag this down, the entire column, it's automatically inputting the data from each of the row that corresponds to this cell, okay? All right, so we have our tax rate right here in this cell. And let me just enter a really quick formula to calculate this. So, oops, it's gonna be this times this, okay? So if I enter that in, and I drag down, you can see it's a little bit wonky, doesn't quite work. So we wanna just pull the 8% as a fixed rate for every cell down this column, and let me show you guys how to do that. All right, so to change this to an absolute reference, you can see I have my reference right here, 8%. If I enter this formula and then press the F4 key, you can see it adds these little dollar signs, making this an absolute reference. So once that's applied, I drag this down. Now we have all of our correct values in place. All right, the next tip that we have for you guys is utilizing the new XLOOKUP function. So this function is going to help us easily pull certain information from a list without manually having to look through it. And it's not that hard to understand once you get some practice with it. So we'll run through a quick example. For this example, I just released this new barbell product, and I want a list of the names of everyone who purchased one. So I have the product here. This is where I'm gonna put the barbell, and I want it to return the names to me in this column. All right, so to get started with this function, we're gonna press the equals sign, and we're gonna type XLOOKUP. And then we're just gonna start inputting the values that it wants. So the lookup value is gonna be what specific bit of information you're looking for. And we're gonna click this little cell up here that has the term barbell. All right, and then we're gonna separate with a comma, and we're gonna specify the lookup array. That's gonna be this column here with the different product information. We'll enter another comma and specify the return array. The return array is gonna be what type of information you want it to return. So in this case, we want the names of these people. So we'll select this column and then we'll press enter. Now, lastly, before I go ahead and enter this function, I'm gonna make both the lookup and return arrays an absolute reference, which means that it's only gonna continue to look at the information that I specified. So F4. And just like that, I've got a list of the names of everyone who purchased a barbell from this data set, and I didn't have to manually search through and see who it was. Next tip that we have for you guys is the sum function. Now, it's more than likely that you're already familiar with this, but there is a very fast keyboard shortcut. And all you have to do to pull a sum function to a cell is hold Alt and equals together. On Mac, instead, we're pressing Command, Shift, and T all together. And then we'll press enter. It's pulling in automatically all of the values above. So pressing enter, and we've got the sum right there. All right, the next tip that we have for you guys is something called flash fill. So as you can see, I have these products divided into two cells, even though they're each a singular product. And Excel has a smart feature where it can understand what you're doing if you're trying to combine something like this and just do it for you. So let's take a look. So I'm gonna type this into one cell, squat rack. And then I'm gonna pull down, and you can see it just repeats squat rack. But if I press this little button right here and click on flash fill, it's automatically going to adjust to make these products into a single cell, just like I did with the first one. Next tip that we have for you guys is the SUMIF function. So this is the same as the sum function, but it's gonna let you specify for a certain criteria. And for the example, I wanna look at the profit for a specific product, and that product is gonna be this squat rack here. So in this cell, we're gonna start to type the function, press equal, SUMIF, And we have to start with the range of where it's going to look for the criteria. That's going to be our product column. So we'll select all of those, and then we'll press comma, and then in quotes, we're going to specify our criteria. We're going to type squat rack. We'll enter another comma, and we want to know, in this case, the profit of the squat racks. So we're going to click the range for profit and select all of those values, and we'll press enter. So now with this function in place, it's only adding the values from these two rows. All right, next on the list, we have a similar function, and this one is called countif. So I want to know, in this case, how many benches were sold. Okay, so we're going to start by entering our function, which is countif. We'll click that, and then we're going to select our range here, which again, this is going to be the product. And then in quotes, we're typing our criteria, which is in quotes bench, and we'll press enter. As you can see, I get the number 1. You can use this in many different ways, but this is a simple example of how this function works. All right, the next tip that we have is how to add a drop-down list. Now you might want to do this if you want to reduce data input errors. So rather than manually typing in a data input, you can simply just select it from a drop-down list. All right, so in order to create a drop-down list, we're navigating over to the data tab, and we're going to click the data validation icon, and then we're going to change this box to list, and then here we're going to pull in a source. We can click this button to grab it off the spreadsheet. So we're going to select these two, and we'll hit the icon again. So I actually changed my source to the above 2 cells so that me changing them to yes or no doesn't interfere with the list itself. But anyways, we can take this now and we can drag it down, and every single one of these is going to have the option of yes or no, simply just by clicking that little icon. Now, the next tip that we have for you guys is that you can actually pull in spreadsheets directly from a website and essentially duplicate it onto your spreadsheet within Excel. So again, in the data tab, so on Windows, you'll have a button here that simply says from web, and then you can click on that and insert a URL link. On Mac, it's a little bit different. I've got to go to the data tab within the Finder window and then get external data, and here I can click run web query. Next tip that we have for you guys is how to share a document so that people can work on this simultaneously without having to do the whole export thing. For this, the easiest way to do this is to turn on auto save. This is going to prompt you to save it to OneDrive. So with the document saved in OneDrive, you'll be able to hit this share button in the top right, and you can invite people's email, which will send them a link that'll let them work on this spreadsheet simultaneously with you. All right, and the last tip that we have for you guys today is stock images. So you can pull stock images directly out of Excel. In the Insert tab, we're going to click on Pictures, and then we're going to click Stock Images. And this is definitely faster than downloading from the web and then inserting into here. You can just do everything all within Excel. So I'm going to go over to Icons, and I'm going to search for money. All right, and then I'll select this little icon right here and press Insert. And I can now move this around, placing it wherever I like. And this could be very helpful for small little graphs or anything that you need to add to your spreadsheet. All right, so that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys found it helpful, or if you have any video topic ideas that you want us to cover, drop those in the comment section below. Again, if you're interested in your own copy of Microsoft Office or other Microsoft software at a great price, check out Indigo Software. We'll have all the links in the description box below. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.